Hey everybody, and welcome back to yet another retro toy and video game hunt. And as you can see, this week we're not at a sad flea market or some random toy store on some god-awful side of town. Instead, it's convention time, because conventions are back somehow, I guess. I don't know. This is actually the first major convention that's happened in Indianapolis since, all the unpleasantness started last year. And of course, we jumped at it. So this is the Indy Comic Con. And this was actually just last weekend, but I'm getting this up now because I'm lazy and I wasn't able to do it in time. But this is some of the stuff we saw, and I definitely wanted to show some of the booths that I thought were pretty cool because obviously, as you can see, there's tons of comic books and things like that, which that's neat, but that's not really what we're doing for the channel. But I did want to point out some of the stuff that I just thought was neat and unique, I guess, to see here at these places. One thing we are very much into, and that is retro video games, and there were a few booths that had a lot of stuff. But as you might be noticing, a lot of this stuff is mostly the import variety of retro video gaming. And that's mainly because if you're wanting to get into collecting, doing the import side of things is way more affordable than it's ever been. Which is weird because that's the exact opposite of how it was when I started collecting video games back in, 2000 or so. Yeah, that wasn't the case. The import scene was the expensive stuff. Now it's the cheap stuff, and as you can see by a lot of these prices, it's fairly affordable to start a very nice looking collection. All of these booths had awesome boxes, they were presented well, everything had it was either their original boxes or it was a very nice repro box that they had created for it. Everything had all of the original artwork, instruction books, music CDs if that came with it. And yeah, if you're buying import, you're getting all of that stuff. You're not just getting a shitty black and white instruction booklet in the case, you're getting all of this extra neat stuff that never made it over to the US, which is why I actually started collecting import games back in the day. Now, of course, obviously there's going to be some expensive stuff, but what these places had, it was very tempting, let me just say that, to just want to get right back into collecting all this stuff again. Because seeing it and just being like, man, I forgot how cool a lot of these things were. The import scene stuff. It's really close to just buying a lot of this stuff. Like these GameCube imports, I would love to have some of these things because the boxes and all the things that it comes with is just so next level compared to what we got here in the US. Of course, it's going to be in Japanese, but I mean, if you're just wanting to collect, this is what you need to do. If there's one thing this convention had you covered on, it's anime. Anime was everywhere. I don't know when this happened at conventions. I'm guessing it's a thing I'm just an old guy yelling at clouds, but it just seems like, god damn, there's a lot of anime at these places now. It didn't used to be like this. As I mentioned, this is a Comic Con, so I guess I should expect it with a comic convention, but yeah, it was everywhere. And the amount of anime characters on display as cosplay was off the hook, let's just say. I did actually almost come close to buying one of these LED visors or this Mario and Luigi hat over here. Thought it was actually pretty cool. This is one of the booths I definitely wanted to show everybody because I think the guy does amazing work. He does a lot of these pixel art, wall art kind of things, and he uses these small tubes that he custom paints, and it's really well done. It even looks good up close, which isn't usually the case with a lot of this pixel art stuff because he matches the colors so well, and because they're like the tube things, it just looks good, no matter if you're up close or you're far away. Of course, if you're far away, you're going to get more of that effect, but goddamn, he has so much stuff here that I would just plaster across every wall in my house with. It's ridiculous. And the prices aren't even that bad for a lot of this stuff. That Turtles mural up there is like $95. And for the size of it and the amount of work that probably went into it, that's not too bad. he could be charging probably 150, 200 for it if he wanted to. Really wanted that though. Over here at this booth, I've seen this one around a few times, but if you have a hankering to change all of your pop culture favorites into kitties, this booth has you covered. I believe it's called Angel Vision's Kitty Works. Sign comes up here in a second, you can check it out. But yeah, that's the entirety of this booth. He takes any of the kind of pop culture stuff that's hot and just basically turns it into kitties. And the art's really well done. I actually kind of enjoy a lot of this stuff. If I wasn't plastering my wall with pixel art, it would be pop culture kitties, and I'm not even lying. Yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of stuff here, and it's whatever you can imagine that you would want kittyfied is probably here. One other thing this convention definitely had you covered on was fake plastic weapons, and they were everywhere, just like the anime. So if you ever wanted to grab a fake bazooka and roll around your town with it, see what happens, you could totally do that here. Rows upon rows of fake replica weapons and stuff like that. You know, honestly, pretty cool. There were some guns and stuff there that I was like, wow, they had a replica, the Dante's from Devil May Cry, his guns. Stuff like that was pretty cool, and they looked really good. But yeah, I don't know. If you're into this stuff, go to a convention, because there's a lot of it. And last but not least, this is Mythos Monsters, and he does a lot of really great art in the whole Lovecraft or dark fantasy style thing, you know, like dragons, dark elves, stuff like that, but mostly Lovecraftian stuff and Cthulhu and all that. And this guy had a lot of awesome art. A lot of trinkets, a lot of crafts as well. And also he does these coloring books, and they're so well done because they're like actual coloring books. You know, he kind of does them in like that old like 50s and 60s Tales from the Crypt art style, and it just works as a coloring book. Really cool little booth. If you ever see this guy around, definitely check him out if you're into this stuff. This was one of the few things I actually bought all day long, was one of these coloring books, because I just thought they were so cool. And this is what I did end up with. Of course, I had to grab some Castlevania pixel art, and that is the name of the place. They're Legendary Creations. I'm going to go ahead and link all of these booths that I covered in the description below. I would have loved to have spent way more money at this convention, but I'm trying to be a responsible adult these days. And according to everyone at the convention that was handing out flyers for other conventions, I'll have more than enough chances to do that in the future. But that's going to do it for the Indy Comic Con. It was actually really cool to get back out and do a whole convention again, because I haven't done that in a really long time. And also, walking around this place made me realize how long it's been since I've done that, because I was definitely getting winded by the time we were getting out of there. But still, it was really cool to be back. If you're into conventions or Comic Cons, or you're around the Midwest, there's several coming up. I believe the next one is in Grand Rapids, Michigan, in early November, so if you're there, we might be there as well. We'll let you know closer to time if you're up there. But anyway, thanks for joining us on this one. Next time, we'll be back with a more conventional retro video game and toy hunt. So check back soon, and thanks for watching.